Welcome to another edition of the Texas Business Court Insider, where we're tracking the activities of the Texas Business Court and beyond. I'm Kate Ergenbright, and today I have with me Rafe Schaefer.
Today we're going to be talking about judicial terms and appointments and reappointments in the Texas Business Court. As our listeners probably know, the judges' terms in the Texas Business Court are 2-year terms. They're appointed on September 1st of even-numbered years. Obviously, 2026 is an even-numbered year. Kate, before we dive into what that looks like coming down the pike, why do we have a Texas Business Court judge appointment process in the first place?
Well, we have this process because that's what the Texas legislature wrote into the Texas government code when they created the Texas Business Court. The 10 judges that currently sit on the court were all appointed by Governor Abbott in 2014 per that Texas government code statute. That appointment by statute is with the advice and consent of the Texas Senate. Now, practically speaking, that means that the judges that Governor Abbott appointed were confirmed by the Texas Senate. A significant advantage of this appointment process is to ensure that the business court judges meet the high qualification standards that are also required by the statute. That includes specific experience requirements and familiarity with the type of cases and issues that the Texas Business Court will hear. Now, another reason for this 2-year term may be to try and sidestep a potential constitutional challenge with this appointment process. The Texas Constitution generally requires that district court judges, which the business court judges are, that serve 4-year terms are required to be elected. So business court judges are not elected, and they only serve 2-year terms instead of the 4-year term in the Texas Constitution. Now, Rafe, what should we be looking for as we're coming up on September 1st of 2026, the 2-year anniversary of the court's creation?
Sure. So obviously there's going to be a lot happening between now and that date. But the first terms of the Texas Business Court judges, those 10 judges you mentioned, are all ending on August 31st, 2026. So in about 60 days. There's been no indication that any judge does not intend to continue serving, but reappointments haven't been announced yet either. So there's certainly, work to be done between now and September 1st to see whether all 10 judges are going to be reappointed, whether they all intend to continue serving, or whether it's possible we will have a new Texas Business Court judge in September of 2026. Kate, regardless, we're going to have some appointment or reappointment process. Functionally, what does the judicial appointment process look like?
So as I mentioned earlier, the Texas Government Code requires Governor Abbott to appoint the judges, or I suppose reappoint the judges that are currently serving with the advice and consent of the Senate. Now, a potentially complicating factor is the Texas Senate, the legislature is not in session, and it won't be again until 2027. So if new judges are appointed or if the current judges are reappointed, presumably they will be sitting September 1st of 2026 going forward and then potentially approved by the Senate once the legislature gets back in session in 2027. The same would be the case if there was ever a vacancy on the court. If during one of the 2-year terms, one of the business court judges resigned, the same appointment process that we've been talking about applies. Now, Rafe, are there any final thoughts for our listeners today?
Sure. I'll give you the clickbait version. We could have a new business court judge or judges on September 1st, 2026. As I mentioned earlier, there's no indication that any of the current judges doesn't intend to continue serving or won't be reappointed. But regardless, there will be some appointment process taking place over the next 60 days. There will be reappointments. There will potentially be new appointments for these 10 business court spots. One of the things that has been so valuable for the business court over the last 2 years is the continuity of courts and of judges who are seeing certain issues on a repeat basis, publishing opinions. I think there's value to litigants in the Texas business courts and contracting parties in the Texas business courts to continue seeing that continuity of the court. We've seen Texas business court filings increasing. We've seen use of the business courts increasing. We've seen over the past year trials beginning to happen and rulings coming out, opinions being published. So there's a lot of value, it seems, to continuity of that court and reappointment. But regardless, we're going to experience over the next 60 days the first iteration of reappointments and appointments. And that's an exciting thing for us to continue to monitor and watch here on the Texas Business Court Insider.
Thanks, Rafe. And thanks everyone for joining us on this episode of the Texas Business Court Insider. Don't forget to like and subscribe to catch all of our videos, which we drop every other Wednesday.